Thanks for joining us today. My name is Christine. I am one of the senior assistant counselors here at MCPHS, working primarily with transfer students. And I'm also joined by my colleague Ben. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Ben, one of the associate counselors here at MCPHS, working with our transfer students. I work primarily with our School of Medical Imaging and Therapeutics students and our dental hygiene students.
So I do want to welcome everybody today. So like I said, we are focusing on transfer admissions today for MCPHS in Boston. I do have my phone here. This is where I'm going to be looking at any questions that you have that come through. Please feel free to utilize the chat function so that we can answer any questions that you have about transfer. As Ben mentioned, he specializes in working with our dental hygiene students and School of Medical Imaging and Technology. I specialize in working with students who are interested in transferring into our healthcare business and technology majors or our arts and sciences majors, but we both can answer questions about any one of the majors here at MCPHS. So as we wait for some questions to roll in, I do just want to let you all know, come visit campus. If you haven't come to visit campus before, we are open Monday through Friday for tours. You can also come on any one of our open Saturdays that we'll have coming up. You can always visit our website to be able to see that. So it's mcphs.edu/visit us. And some really great things that are coming up as well. If you've been accepted to MCPHS, definitely come by for one of our accepted student days coming up. And we also have a transfer open house, which is going to be at the end of April. I believe it's April 27th. So definitely come by as well. So there's some great questions coming in. So I will answer some and I'll also pass them off to Ben here. So some great questions would be, can a student transfer into any one of our new degrees for the School of Business and Technology? That's a really great question. So that prompts me to say that we have some new majors that are being launched for the fall of 2024 semester. The health data and informatics. We have health technology focus and then biotechnology as well. And you can absolutely apply to those majors to transfer into the first year of one of those programs starting in the fall. So absolutely feel free to submit your application and your transcripts. Another question here is, what resources are available for transfer students as you transfer? So I'll let Ben answer this question, kind of walking through how we support transfer students in the beginning stages of applying, and then once you get here as well.
Sure, so we have a really great team of transfer-focused counselors here that Christine and I are both part of. Actually, a lot of us were transfer students ourselves back in the day, so we're very familiar with the process. And what we do is we actually, are in touch with students each step of the way. So as you apply, we'll reach out to help you make sure you understand all of the documents you need to submit, the application process. We'll usually meet with students at the beginning of the application process. And then as you submit and complete your application, we'll work with you as you move through the application review. Usually once an application is completed, within about 2 to 3 weeks, you'll get your admission decision. And then if accepted, we'll reach back out and be in touch about the next steps. Usually that involves submitting your enrollment deposit, which is usually to a few weeks after you receive your admit decision, and that sort of locks down your seat within the class, at which point we'll start, getting you more information about the enrollment process, which the length of which sort of depends on when you apply and then when your program starts. Now, most of our admissions are rolling, so in general, I'd say, while most of our programs have a deadline that's usually about a month before the start of classes, I would say always submit your application as soon as you can, just because with rolling admissions, statistically, the earlier you apply, the higher your chances of getting in will be.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's a really great point as well, that we have our applications open. Our application is free and on our website, so always feel free to submit an application sooner rather than later, as Ben was just saying. But I think it's important as well to know that we are a very transfer-friendly school. So we admit, unlike many other institutions, we actually accept about 300 to 400 transfer students, welcoming them every fall to our school. So there are a lot of opportunities for students coming in as transfer students Transfer housing is available for you, so you'll be paired with another transfer student if you want to live on campus. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved, stay involved, and really immerse yourself in the MCPHS community. I think what's really good to note too, once again for all of our new people jumping on, that my name is Christine. I am one of our Senior Assistant Directors for Transfer Admissions here at MCPHS Boston, and I'm joined by my colleague Ben, who is also one of our admissions counselors here, the Associate Director. And so we're both here to talk to you today about our transfer admissions process, any questions that you might have about majors, and more information about just what it is to transfer to MCPHS. A question came in about applying directly to a program. I think that is a great question. You absolutely can apply directly to a program. We actually require you to choose a major when you are applying. So if you have any questions about majors, you're more than welcome to reach out to us and have a counselor appointment to discuss that more. And we're able to talk you through what your goals are, what those next steps are, and maybe which major would fit best for you. But because many of our majors are clinical-based programs, or they have internships, and research experience involved in them, for the non-clinical based ones, we require you to declare your major when you're applying. A question here about transferring into dental hygiene pre-dental track. So that's actually Ben's expertise, so I will pass it off to Ben.
Yeah, so to transfer in as a pre-dental student, if you wanted to transfer in at the start of that accelerated program, which is essentially equivalent to the typical accelerated dental hygiene program, but with the addition of 2 additional semesters, that would be an additional summer and an additional fall. If you wanted to transfer in at the start, there's no particular prerequisites. We are just looking for some college experience, usually equivalent to about a semester's worth. And we're looking for general strength in your grades, especially in those math and science courses. Now, sometimes there is fast track admission available. Here in Boston, that's not always guaranteed that it will be available. But for our fast track programs, usually there are some prerequisite courses which are required, depends on whether or not you have a degree already. But in general, I would recommend for any of our dental hygiene students, if you're interested in applying and think you may want to go to dental school in the future, that pre-dental program is a really excellent option, because when you finish that program, you graduate in December, and you're eligible to work as a dental hygienist once you graduate and pass your boards. Now that also, timing-wise, puts you in an advantage for applying to dental school, where not only can you graduate and start working in a dental practice as a hygienist, but you'll have a timeline advantage for applying to dental school. And when you apply, you'll be able to show that you have a lot more practical in-clinic experience than your average dental school applicant, because you'll already be working as a dental hygienist.
Yeah, and that's some really great information. Thank you, Ben. If you have questions about specific programs, please feel free to put them in chat. We're happy to answer those. Some really great questions are coming in as well about requirements for applying. So all of the requirements are listed on our website, but application is free. You are able to submit an application and then submit your documents. So in order to apply to transfer, we need documents or transcripts from any institution that you've completed credit at. So anytime you've completed a college course, we're going to need that transcript. They can be official or unofficial to be able to apply. The difference would be if you have less than 24 college credits completed or you're applying to our nursing program, we also need your high school transcript on file to review your application for admission. Once we have everything on file, Ben mentioned this earlier, but we are rolling admissions, so you're actually able to get a decision within 2 to 4 weeks from your complete application. And one really great thing too is that all of our transfer students who are accepted will be considered and receive a merit-based scholarship, as well as if you're applying to any federal or FAFSA, we'll be able to accept that as well. Some other great questions are coming in now. What are the requirements for the nursing program starting in the fall? I'll take this question and then I'll pass off a housing question to Ben. So for our nursing program, so we have our accelerated nursing program, which is a 3-year bachelor's program for our students looking to get bachelor's degrees in nursing. And we require, once again, your transcripts, your high school transcript. We'll ask you for an essay or a personal statement, in our application. So you will send all of those to us. We also are looking for students who are going to be successful in the program. So anything with a 2.7 or above, we'll look at your math classes, your science classes. We just want to set you up for success. It's a very rigorous program as it's one of our accelerated programs. So we will take a look at everything and holistically review as well, taking into consideration your high school too. So a question here about housing. So can transfer students live on campus? And how does that work, when you're transitioning from a different campus?
So transfer students absolutely can live on campus. All of our transfer students are guaranteed housing, at least in their first year. And while after that it may not be guaranteed, it is available. And so that housing, can include a wide range of living situations. That includes traditional dorm room style, suite style, which is like 2 dorm rooms connected by a central living area. And then we also have some really excellent apartment style units for our on-campus housing, where it's, student rooms connected by a living area and a kitchen. Those I'm also kind of jealous because they have in-unit washer dryers, which is pretty rare here in Boston.
They're very nice.
Yeah. So again, that housing definitely guaranteed your first year as a transfer student, and then available after that, although not guaranteed. And then in terms of, getting the housing, that's something that we'll talk about more. If a student is accepted and you're moving through the enrollment process, we can talk more about housing options. We have a really excellent office here on campus that helps guide students through the housing process.
Yeah, and there's a question here about choosing your housing. So as Ben was just saying, you will fill out a housing contract and a housing questionnaire, but most likely transfer students are placed within our suite style or apartment style, as Ben just mentioned. There's some great questions here about international. We do have an international admissions office. We do welcome international students to apply to transfer, but our international admissions office is going to be able to answer questions about your WES transcript evaluation, questions you might have about scholarship and things like that. So I would encourage anyone who has questions that we can't get to today to reach out to our admissions@mcphs.edu. Please feel free to send an email there. We can schedule an appointment with you, and for international questions, we can make sure that you have those answered correctly, and in a timely manner from our international team. There is a question here about the TEAS exam for nursing. So this is a twofold answer. For our nursing transfer applicants, we absolutely accept you into either the first or the second year of the nursing program based on space. When it comes to applying, if you're looking to apply into our first year of the nursing program, TEAS is not required because you will take it in the summer between your first and second undergraduate year with us. And for students who are looking to apply to the second year, to start into the second year of the nursing program, TEAS exam scores are required. It has to be a 65.3 or above within 3 attempts. But sometimes we don't have space to enter into the second year. So if you don't have a TEAS exam score, it's okay. I would say submit your application and we can walk you through next steps to see where you best fit within the program. Hello from Ghana. I see someone's watching from Ghana, so hello. Thanks for joining us today. And we do have a few international admissions counselors that are specific to certain areas of the world. So, making sure that you're reaching out to those specific individuals to be able to guide you along in transferring to MCPHS is wonderful too. Some really great questions here about transferring in with previous coursework completed at other institutions. There's one question about you're Bunker Hill, you're interested in transferring to nursing, and you've previously had 35 credits completed at UMass. So transferring into nursing or any one of our majors, you're going to need all your transcripts. So we'll need your Bunker Hill transcript and your UMass transcript, as well as your high school transcript for nursing to be able to have that sent in to be considered. But what I would recommend is sending your application in, and then we will guide you from there. For anybody who applies, if you're admitted, you will get a transfer credit evaluation at your time of your acceptance, so you'll know what credits are been accepted to be transferred. Ben, do you want to talk a little bit about that process and how we look at transfer credit?
Sure. So when we're looking at transfer credit, we can't always just accept any credits. So we're looking specifically for courses that are part of the program usually courses that are part of the first half of the program, which is typically referred to as the undergrad phase, especially for our professional programs. And we can get you more information about that. It is available on our website when you look at the page for each individual program. So when we're looking at those transfer credits, we're looking both for courses that are equivalent to courses that you'd be taking that first half of the program, but we're also looking for those courses to have been completed within about 10 years previously to the anticipated date that you'll start the program. So for instance, if you're planning on starting a program in fall 2024, usually those courses need to have been taken in fall 2014 or later than that. Additionally, when we're looking at transferable courses, we're usually looking for courses that you've passed with a grade of either C or C plus or higher. And then when we're looking at those grades, we will be in communication with you once you're accepted about what we'll be able to accept for transfer credit. One additional thing to note, though, is that a lot of our students are still taking classes after they have received their acceptance decision. It's great and totally acceptable if you continue taking classes. And if you take classes, please just be sure to let us know what you've enrolled in between the time of your acceptance and the time of the start of your program. And then we can know what to expect from you. And then once you receive those final grades, you'll just send those to us and we can go ahead and evaluate those for transfer credit as well. So you can actually be accepted and then, say this spring, take some more classes over the spring and summer. And then if those are transferable, we could actually accept those for transfer credit in the fall.
Yeah, awesome. So a couple other questions have come in here about deferring your admission. That's a good question. So when it comes to if you've been admitted to start in one of our programs this upcoming fall, we actually do not accept deferrals because a lot of our programs are based by the number of seats that are available. So if you're looking to not accept your admission for this upcoming semester, what we can do is work with you to actually submit another application for the next time that is open. So let's say it's for diagnostic medical sonography for this fall, it would be for fall of 2025, that you would then submit another application and send us any updated coursework. So that is just a process that we have to have an application on file every cycle for someone. So we don't do deferrals, but we would be able to work with you very closely to submit a new application so that we can get you another decision for the next semester. A good question here about, if you didn't do well at one of your previous schools, but you're doing well at your current school, we're going to look holistically at your application to transfer. So we're going to take into account all of the coursework that you've done, what you're doing now, how you're doing. Sometimes in those cases, it actually benefits to send us a personal statement for why you feel you're ready to attend one of our rigorous science programs, how you feel prepared, maybe something impacted your previous grades, telling us about that, just a little more insight. So a personal statement is not required for you to apply, but we, if you would like to send one, we absolutely will look at it and consider that in the review. Sometimes for students as well, just a little antidote, sometimes you might apply to one of our programs and we're not able to admit you directly to that program, but we may be able to admit you to one of our other programs. So we're going to consider you for all different types of things here at MCPHS. Please don't feel discouraged, but we're happy to chat with you about, maybe what you need to do to improve. And so we are here to help. We are one of the larger transfer teams from other universities. And so I think just knowing that, myself, Ben, and a few of our other colleagues are always here to chat with you. I do just want to reiterate for those who are jumping on now, we're going to be closing the questions just in about probably 5-10 minutes, but please know that we are always available to speak with. You can email admissions@mcphs.edu. You can also go on mcphs.edu/visit us, and you can actually schedule an appointment with myself or Ben or one of our colleagues. We do phone appointments, virtual appointments, Monday through Friday. Our office is closed around 4:30, so you're always welcome to chat with us, and you can come on campus as well. We also do weekly tours that you can come and visit, as well as our other opportunities to come visit that are coming up, which is all posted on our website. But please feel free to reach out. So a few other really great questions here. Is it possible to take courses that you may be missing online with MCPHS before the start of the program? That's a really great question. So for some of our programs, we have prerequisites that are required, but for some programs, maybe you're trying to enter into the second year, let's say for pre-med, and you need to take Chem 2 and you need to take Calculus 2, you can. And so I'll have Ben talk a little bit about our School of Professional Studies.
Yes, so our School of Professional Studies is a really great option for students who may have a few courses that they need to complete. Say you've been admitted, but you have a few courses you need to get completed prior to the start of the program. That's a pretty typical situation. And our School of Professional Studies, is usually not required, but it's always an option. So not all of the prerequisites are offered through School of Professional Studies, but a lot of them are. And so when you're looking at those prerequisite course lists on our program pages online, you'll see some of those course names are highlighted and underlined in red. That always means that that's a course that's available through the School of Professional Studies. And if that's a course that you need to take prior to the start of your program, I definitely recommend looking into that as an option. Of course, we can always accept credits from any other accredited school you've taken courses at or a local community college. School of Professional Studies, however, offers these courses in an online asynchronous format that, as long as you pass the course, it's transferable because it's through us here at MCPHS. I'll also note that for students who have never taken a course before at MCPHS, there's a discount available when you sign up for your first course through the School of Professional Studies, which makes it, again, just a really great option when you're evaluating where you might want to get those prerequisites done.
There is a question in here about transcript evaluations for international students. We do accept transcript evaluations from WES, which is World Education Services, but we also accept them from a few others, CED being one of them. So I know that this question is mentioning that WES isn't available in their country. So please know that there are other options for you, and reaching out to our admissions office and connecting with international admissions will help you out in figuring out which is the best option for you. There's also a question here about what kind of degree you get when you're in the pharmacy program. So for the Pharmacy Direct Entry program, it's a 6-year program to get your doctorate in pharmacy. So the way that it's structured is your first 2 years are undergraduate, and then years 3 through 6 are your graduate professional program. But just starting this fall, you're actually also able to obtain your bachelor's degree. So it would be bachelor's in pharmaceutical sciences after that 4th year. And then you continue on to get that PharmD, the doctorate, after year 6. Another question here is, where are nursing clinicals held? So any one of our clinicals for any of our programs that have clinicals, things like medical imaging and technology, that school, nursing, PA, all of those programs that we have clinical rotations all across the U.S. The majority of them are within the New England area. We always say about an hour from campus is something to think about, but they can be held in multiple different locations, as well as being big name hospitals and local community hospitals. We want you to receive different patient diversity experience, so it's not always going to be one of those big names, though we do have clinical affiliations with them that are right around the corner from us. And a question I'm going to pass off to Ben: when's the deadline to apply for the fall semester?
So the deadline for all of our programs is typically about a month before the start of classes. For fall, that would be, I believe, in early August. But when we're talking about deadlines, we really mean that's the final point at which you can submit your application. But realistically, because our admissions are rolling, what I would always suggest is if the application is open, you should go ahead and submit it as soon as possible. As Christine already mentioned, our application for transfer students is free. You can submit it before you even add your documents. What I would suggest is just go, fill it out for free, submit it, and then start working on getting those transcripts submitted. And then as soon as your application is submitted and we have all of your transcripts, we'll be able to get you that decision within 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, and on top of that as well, so as Ben just mentioned, you can submit your application and then submit your documents. It doesn't have to all be at once. We can have you in that submitted stage to complete. With that as well, submit your FAFSA. So the FAFSA for the 24-25 academic year has opened up this month. So the government overhauled FAFSA and now it is open again. So please make sure you're submitting that as soon as you can. At MCPHS as a school, make sure we have your social security number on file, which is how we verify that it's you. And then If you're accepted to the program, you're accepted to the school, what that does is actually trigger our system to send you a financial aid award letter. So doing it before you receive your decision actually allows the process to be quicker. So you don't have to wait to be admitted to have your FAFSA sent to us. We can send you the financial aid award letter once you get your decision letter, and then we can just have more open conversations about how you finance your education and what next steps are from there. Good question about the online prereq classes. So if you are taking any school professional studies classes, which is the online self-paced courses, when you sign up for the class is when it begins, usually with like a 48-hour buffer. But every time you complete a module, it opens up the next module. So you have 16 weeks to complete those courses. Now, once again, if you are taking those classes and you're required to take those classes, we will let you know. It may be required prior to starting with us. Maybe we just need a class to fill in. We will let you know everything once you get your admissions decision. Yes, so the question about the nursing program, there's two questions here. So our accelerated bachelor's of nursing program is actually our traditional 3-year program. So every other school might call it just their nursing program, and they might call a second degree nursing program accelerated. Our traditional nursing bachelor's degree is 3 years accelerated. And we do have a post-baccalaureate nursing program, which is a second degree, so post-bachelor's. Yeah, and then another question here about transfer credit. So when we're looking at transfer credit, as Ben mentioned before, we will assess it based off of the major that you're applying to, what our students take in years 1 and 2, and then how those correlate over to classes here and what you took. So we will not accept all of the classes that you have completed typically because we are specific to health sciences. There are some elective classes that our students take, but we won't be able to just kind of plug in classes anywhere. So if you complete an associate's degree and you're going to the nursing program, if you're going for the bachelor's program, you absolutely, you're more than welcome to apply. We may not be able to take all of your credit from the associates, but we do have an and to an MSN program. So there's a associates in nursing to a master's in nursing bridge. That is online, so that's not our specialty. That's not transfer technically, but there is that option too. So keep that in mind. A question here about, let me see. Yeah, there was a question about financial aid for someone. So transfer students absolutely are considered for financial aid. So just once again, making sure that you submit your FAFSA. All right, so I think we have time for one more question, and I will pass this one off to Ben. So is there anything to do, if you've been admitted, if there's anything to do prior to the fall semester starting? Is there anything required of our students, things like that?
Absolutely, and that's something that we will be in touch with our admitted students to check in about. But once you've been admitted, like I mentioned before, that first step will be paying your $500 admission deposit to enroll in the program. So once you've been admitted, you've been offered a seat in the program. To reserve that seat, you have to submit your enrollment deposit. You'll usually have a few weeks available to you to really think about it and make that final decision before you deposit. Once you have submitted your deposit, you have secured that seat in the program. It's yours, and then you can move forward with the enrollment process. Usually after that, you'll get your financial aid award letter, and then you'll sit down with someone from our team, whoever your admission counselor is, and we'll start working with you to make sure we have a plan for affordability, that you know what all your scholarships and financial aid options are. And then we'll also start working on building your schedule for that first semester with you. So there are a number of steps to be taken, and those are all things that will work with you. Additionally, if once you've been admitted, if we don't yet have your final grades, your official transcripts from the schools you attended, as well as your final official high school transcript, that's usually something we'll reach out to you and make sure that we have on file. And then if you had any courses, any remaining prerequisites, we'll always need those final grades before you start your program.
but we will be in contact for anything that's needed. You will have a direct admissions counselor reaching out to you prior to a decision, once you get your decision, so we're always here to help. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us. Just to reiterate a few things that we had mentioned at the beginning, our application is free and on our website, so you will just need to send your application in and any transcripts from any colleges that you've completed coursework at. It can be unofficial or official transcripts. For our nursing program, we also need your high school transcript on file. All of our transfer students who are accepted will be considered for merit-based scholarship. At the time of their acceptance, you'll also be able to see your transfer credit evaluation if accepted. I do also want to encourage you to reach out to us here. So admissions@mcphs.edu. You can also visit our website to see when you can come visit campus, but we do have transfer specific events happening. We have transfer instant decision days actually as well, where you can come in with your transcripts if you haven't already submitted them and get a decision on the spot. You'll see those listed on our website, but we have a transfer open house at the end of April. I believe it's April 27th. And if you've been accepted already, make sure that you come to one of our accepted student days in the upcoming months. And, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always here to help. We're very interactive when it comes to helping out our transfer students in the process and getting you here to MCPHS. So thank you all so much for joining us today, and we hope to see your application soon.